it ultimately to fight, or is it what the fight gives you when you're done?
I would say a little bit of both. That's one of the greatest feelings when competing, when fighting, is getting your hand raised. There's nothing like it, and due to all the hard work, all the training, all the preparation that leads up to that one little match, when you finally can put it into fruition and it all happens, and then you get your hand raised, and then you win by a spectacular knockout. You get the crowd cheering for you. You know, that's a very satisfying feeling.
Now that's interesting. I want to talk about that. Mm-hmm. So for the actor, it's a hand raise, but it's two hands making a clapping sound.
Correct. And
you're saying, as a competitor in the art of strategic movements that people call fighting, it's getting your arm raised.
Right. There is a story behind that, why it was called, or why it is called a ring. Oh. That goes way back, like way back when fighting was allowed, where nobody could call the cops, and you know, you could go to jail. Mm. They would literally, you would get two guys that would decide to fight, and they would get a stick and they would draw a circle in the sand or in the dirt. And so these two guys would get in there, and that was kind of like your boundary. And obviously, when push comes to shove, it's not going to stay in a hand-drawn circle. So the fight would go on for sometimes hours, sometimes days, sometimes weeks. And actually, this is how we came up with the rules of, okay, we got to create a boundary, we got to create rules, we got to create the 10-second count, because you had guys that would literally get knocked out back then, and they can wake up and challenge you again. So, I mean, I can go way more into depth with that, but that's where that concept came from, and so they just kind of stuck with it. So ultimately, it's a rectangle or a square, or some people fight in a cage, an octagon, a hexagon, but we still keep that.
Is it true that maybe if it were street rules, some wins would not necessarily look as pristine as they do in the square of the ring?
Absolutely. Yeah, because there's a saying that once you get rattled or once you get knocked out, once you get time to recover, it becomes that much harder to do the same thing again. So yeah, to answer that, I think a lot of fights, if that guy had an extra 5 seconds or an extra round to recover himself, the fight would be completely different. I think history would be able to rewrite itself.
Because it sounds like a fighter is actually a time technician. Do you work with the clock, or you have an internal, can you feel, how long are the rounds typically?
The rounds are 3 minutes.
Can you feel 3 minutes within you without a clock?
Yes, the best fighters with the highest, we call it IQ, fighters IQ, they utilize every step, every punch, every kick, everything is calculated all the way down to their coach's voice. They mute what the fans and the crowd says, and they utilize that clock all the way down to that means you got 10 seconds left in the round.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
What a cute, and you're able to tell the difference between that sound coming towards you and the sound of the other side's coach and all the other sounds that are going on. You can differentiate.
Yeah, because you have what's called a boxing commission, and those guys basically run the show. They make sure nobody's cheating and, et cetera. But one of the rules are, if you're in the corner, you cannot bang on the table. Only person who can do that is a timekeeper. So that works in both fighters' advantage. So when we hear that, we know 10 seconds left in the round. I speak things into existence. The fight for me starts weeks and weeks before that actual moment. I already know what song I'm coming out to. I already know what my trunks are going to look like. I already know what moves I'm going to do. I already know what I believe he's going to do. And ultimately that plays out to my advantage. And if I can speak it in the beginning, it will more than likely happen. Because I don't want to go on there assuming or worried or afraid, or I think I want to do this move. I'm only going to do the things that I know will work.
So you're saying, I think that's profound. You said speak, so you're talking about words. So your words are basically like a GPS for you.
Correct.
They tell you where you are.
They tell me exactly where I am, where I need to be.
So what do you say to someone who uses their GPS, but sometimes the emotions, or if you will, the lower form of themselves will sabotage their word speaking system? How do you stay the course?
Don't feed into the negativity. I think that's where having a good team comes into play. I let my coaches, or you should let your coaches, and let those guys be on the internet looking your opponents up. And you got one job. You train, and then you train for your fight.
You're saying being disciplined with what you feed your mind. Is that what I heard you say?
Yes.
I see. So are there positive aspects to negativity?
Yes, I do believe that, because at this day and age, nobody really wants to see a winner. We want to see a winner that falls, so we can say, ha ha ha, now I can congratulate you. Like, nobody wants to really congratulate the winner. You know, we live in a society where it's easy to, be nicer or congratulate somebody for their loss. I mean, this goes back to not only just fighting, but sports in general. This can be a loss of a family member. I mean, you have more nice things to say about somebody who no longer exists than when living. So yeah, for me in particular, you can use that, but you have to use it with the positive energy of, okay, I know you don't think I'm gonna win, but that's gonna fuel me to train even harder, so I can show you, hey, my training paid off, and then guess what? I win and get my hand raised, but not a ha-ha moment back.
So rising, if you will, like the phoenix.
Yes, rising to the occasion, rising up, rising above.
Have you had it before? And we do see your accolades speak for themselves. What was your before? Who was Randy before the boom boom?
Man, me personally, I would say same person. You learn to almost develop a alter ego, so to say. Randy Blake is the laid back, like to laugh a lot, love to joke around. I'm a prankster. I just love life for what it is. I appreciate it the older I get. Boom Boom is just the guy that I don't like that guy, but for more than 15 minutes.
I see.
He's dangerous. He's grueling, but it's knowing how to turn that switch on. So when I turn it on, okay, I'm Boom Boom. Boom Boom he's just a monster.
I see.
He truly is, but Boom Boom can't be in this room today hanging out. He can't go hanging out with friends or hanging out in public. That's for ring purposes only.
It sounds like you have the makings to be also a phenomenal actor, because those are components that an actor has to do. An actor can't carry the character into their everyday life, although they use their everyday life to observe and to develop the character. But you can't be it, if you will, in your actuality. It's just in your reality created for entertainment's sake. And if you do carry it over, I think Hollywood has shown that people tend to possibly not stay in touch as well grounded. And so you possess an ability to do what we call in acting, casting your character, checking it at the door and coming in and being able to become every man. And this term you use, a monster, the definition of a monster is a human.
Yes.
Anything else that you think is a monster is an imaginative concept made by man.
Right.
So yeah, and there's possibly some truth that we all have a monster within.
I think so. I think we all do.
Cool. It's a pleasure to hear it from you. Thank you for sharing your gift, your knowledge, your words, things that stand out profoundly just in your exchange right now is the fact that the ebb and flow of our if you will, our monster, the joy of recognizing that we have within us many facets, and one is not better than the other, but you can, as I would say, you can utilize them to their benefit, because that's what you're doing. As a professional, you're showing us really how to handle our monsters, and to do it with finesse and with art. And I expect to continue to grow this dialogue. I think there's a lot of components in this that are going to be profound for many people and for a long time to come. Anything you want to finish up with?
Thank you for the opportunity, and this is awesome.